So there we go. So again, my name is Andrew King, editor-in-chief of Canadian Musician, and this is Building and Engaging Your Online Audience. Again, joining us today, Laser Malena-Webber, artist, author, manager, label head, crowdfunding coach. Their act, The Double Clicks, has raised over $500,000 in crowdfunding campaigns to date. And of course, as we've said, to do that, you first need to establish a very dedicated, loyal online following, which the Double Clicks have in spades. They've also got 4 of their records that have charted on Billboard. You can read more about Laser here, and we definitely also want to point you to, and we'll give you more information shortly, on Laser Campaigns, one of only 20 companies officially endorsed by Kickstarter, basically a crowdfunding consulting business for all types of creatives. Their client roster of folks they worked with in the past is very impressive, lasercampaigns.com. And again, there's a little bit more about me, your MC for this, but you didn't come here to listen to me. So let's jump in. First, we're just going to talk a little bit more about Laser and the Double Clicks to give you an idea as to some of the topics we're going to be covering and why Laser is absolutely an authority on those. Then we're going to get into building and engaging your online audience, why that's important, and then more importantly than why it's important, how you actually do it. And then at the end, we'll tell you about this free workbook that's going to help you take these tips and put them into practice right now. We're very grateful to Laser for putting those together. So, the Double Clicks, your musical duo. We've talked about your bigger accomplishments here. I guess I've already teed it up for you, so maybe I will make you blow your own horn a little bit. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Fill us in a little bit about your experiences with the Double Clicks and how that pertains to what we're talking about today.
Sure. Yeah, the Double Clicks is my musical duo. It's actually my sister and I. We didn't really intend to start a band, but we started singing silly songs about like dinosaurs and cats, and playing at an open mic. And then we created a YouTube channel where we were releasing videos, and then decided we've got to make weekly videos. Otherwise, we're not going to just have enough songs to fill up the gigs we're booking. And that helped us build an amazing online audience, and was a really kind of a way we kind of backed into all of these strategies that I'm going to be talking to you about that I've been able to replicate with other people. But this online audience that we built and these relationships that we developed helped us release these Billboard-topping albums that we funded with our audience. When we tour, we literally have an online form that our audience fills out, and they say, okay, come play at this, well, it used to be come play at my house, but then it's like come play at my local library, and then it's come play at my local game store, come play at my local venue or coffee shop. And they help us book these venues that we otherwise wouldn't get into, because it's more just, it's about who you know, right? And it's just about your fans, first of all, knowing how to contact you online, and then getting into and helping you book these gigs across the US, Australia, and Europe, and a little bit of Canada, a little bit, not enough. It's a very big country. And then, yeah, we were able to kickstart and Patreon over $500,000 and get over 4 million YouTube views. And one of my very favorite things that our audience has done is they've created this Facebook community where they just talk to each other, and they have this is a like really positive world where over 1,000 of them, and it's still growing, are just like hanging out and saying like, here's a dinosaur thing, here's a cat thing, and we're just engaging and being friends. And all of this is just leading to the Double Clicks being part of something that is part of their identity and something that they care about. And we're very fortunate, of course, that is something that we can, be a part of, but also it just makes it a huge, resource for us, that we can say we have this online community that we know how to access. And if we ever need anything, we can ask them. And if they ever need anything, they can ask us. So it's very fortunate for us.
And you touch on something there that we'll get into more momentarily, but that reciprocity, that give and take relationship is very crucial here. Okay, so I mean, we've danced around this, and maybe some of these will be direct and straightforward, but yeah, walk us through, give us an idea as to why this is so important to a sustainable career in music these days, especially these days amidst the mess we find ourselves in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think right now, if you find yourself, stuck at home and you can't be out on the road and you can't be touring and doing the things that you've normally been doing as a musician, if you have access to your online audience, whether it's through social media or through a mailing list, you are accessible to your fans and your fans are accessible to you, which is amazing. Like we started doing well, it's been between daily, weekly, and monthly online streaming events. And I think a lot of uh, other artists are finding that that's a great way to communicate with their fans. But like keeping a relationship going with your fans while you're trapped at home. I mean, whatever is happening, if you can keep that relationship going, regardless of the situation in the world, is super important. And that's one of the things that the internet provides to us in spades. So that relationship is, I think it's great. I mean, I think it's not just like you should do this because it's possible. I think it's like, wow, the internet creates an amazing resource for us all to tap. And then also people are on the internet all the time. And if you are able to be the thing that people access when they're online, not just when they're like listening to your music, when they're working out or walking around or driving their car, but also when they're just like checking out content on Instagram or YouTube or whatever they're doing, then you are a strong part of their lives. Your identity is part of their identity. And that is just something that's going to mean that they care more about you. And that's great. I mean, I think we all remember to like being teenagers when like My Chemical Romance is Who I Am or whatever band that is, Bare Naked Ladies or whoever they are. Like you want to be the band that people identify with. And I think these days that means you have to be online and you have to have a lot of stuff that people can experience. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And to that note of experience, I'm looking forward to talking about the online rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah.
So here, and I guess going back to what you were just saying about reciprocity, but yeah, if you're spending time with, engaging with your fans online, that then makes them more receptive when you're asking them for things, social media follows, pre-orders, crowdfunding, etc. So yeah, what are some means? And I guess we'll get into this with our steps momentarily, but generally speaking, what kind of content, what kind of dialogue works to establish that reciprocal back and forth relationship?
Well, I think that a lot of folks, they feel weird about posting online because it's like, I'm promoting too much or I'm, marketing or that kind of stuff. And I understand, but I think if you're posting content, right? So that's like videos most of the time, especially these days, are really, really, really wonderful for internet. And that can be music videos, but that can also just be like when you're on the road, just posting a vlog. When you're at home, posting videos of you singing to your cat. When you're, whenever you're doing anything that's just like a hobby or fun or just existing in your life, like instead of just promoting, just share your life to the extent that you're comfortable sharing your life with your fans through video and photo and that kind of thing. And I'll actually talk you through like a specific plan on how to do that soon, but how to like, don't feel like you always have to be promoting and asking, like starting with just sharing and giving and like finding different ways to share your songs over and over again, instead of just saying, please buy my album, please buy my album. Like, feel free to just give it out, share your music because people just want to experience that.
Right on. Okay, so the practicality. How do you do it? Basic elements here. I love that you've broken these down so simply. Accessibility, investment, and size. Please, we've got a few kind of general ideas of what those are here, but can you walk us through each and give us some context?
Absolutely. So accessibility is, can you access your audience? Can they find you? Can you find them? It's a little bit like, I kind of find this as like building a house, if you built like a really great house full of your amazing music, can your audience find the house? Do they know the address? And can you invite them in? So that's accessibility. Investment is kind of just what we've been talking about. Like, how much do they care about you? How much of their life, by percentage is taken up by thinking about your music? Do they spend time with you? Do they care about you? Are they invested in your success? And, emotionally, monetarily invested in your success. And that's very, very important when you eventually are asking them for money, but also just, when you want to chat with them, and are you invested in them? That's also really important. Like, caring about your fans is a beautiful thing. And then size. Obviously, you want your fan base to be really big, but I honestly, I put this third because I think a slightly smaller, more engaged audience is more important than just like a really, really huge audience that doesn't individually care that much. If I had like a viral video that had which I do, like a million views, I would that a bunch of people saw once and didn't care about my band ever again. I would much rather have like a bunch of videos that have like 1,000 views and those people really, really care. So that's why size is third. But access, investment, and accessibility, investment, and size, in that order, I think are the most important things in how to create your online audience.
Bingo. All right, well, let's break them down. First, we're going to get to accessibility.
Yes.
After that one, we'll take our questions and then cover investment and size after that. In your chat window, I don't know if I mentioned before, is where you can submit your questions, and I will be culling from that and fielding them, and then we'll put them in front of Laser at the appropriate time. So feel free to send them at any point here. But starting off, so accessibility, I guess goes without saying. That means making your art, and by extension, yourself and activities, discovery ready. What goes into that, into making what you do discovery ready?
Yeah, so you can't just occasionally like throw up a great music video on your YouTube channel, like post on Instagram when you feel like it and call it a day. Because I think that's like, you throw up some billboards at the side of the highway and then say, my music exists, bye. Like, I think you really need to just build this house and invite your fans in. So when I say making your art discovery ready, I say, like, when people hear about you, can they become fans? So do you have like a website, mailing list, social media setup? So when people find out about you, they can listen to your best music. They aren't just like, don't just happen to go find like the one weird song that I think we all have like the one weird song. If somebody listened to just that, we'd be like, no, that's not why would you come in via that one? Like, have a welcome mat. I mean, I think, I have a YouTube playlist of like the double clicks, like, select mix of like, listen to these 5 songs if you've just discovered us, if you're if your friend made you join our fan base, like, check this out. Then, like, can they find out about the band members? Can they book you? Like, so many bands don't have information on their websites that like is helpful for professionals trying to book you or press. Can they figure out where you're based and what kind of gigs that you play? And can they join your mailing list? So important. I'm sure that many people who come on your webinars hit the mailing list drum, but it's probably the thing that's going to be on my tombstone. You must have a mailing list so that people can. It's like, it converts so much better. It's the thing that's going to get to people, and it's the invitation to your home. So make all of that stuff really, really easy to get to, put it on your website, and make it one click away. So when people go to your website, they don't have to dig for things. When you have all of this stuff super accessible, it means that people are going to not get bored digging, and they're going to actually like jump in. They're going to, your website is ready for new fans, for super fans who want to learn more. So maybe you have like, there's like stories that I can find. It's ready for professionals. Like, if you are the one band on a festival that has a high res picture to download, you're the fan that's going to get, you're the band that's going to get like the front page story. Trust me, I've worked for newspapers before. That is how it works. So
good point.
so get all that stuff on your website, make it one click away. And just remember, people are busy. Their job is not, making your band's career work. Your job is making your band's career work. So get all that stuff one click away. And then make sure that when fans discover you, that they stay connected with you. So if a band does like listen to your music on YouTube and they're like, hooray, this is good. Okay, bye. Make sure that they don't get to leave until you ask them, oh, did you like this song? You could get the song for free if you join my mailing list. Or, did you enjoy this gig that you just saw us at? Then you can build your relationship with us by joining our mailing list. I don't have another example because you have to have a mailing list. But you can follow us on Instagram, I guess. So keep building those relationships so that when this was something that I was so obsessed with when I first started our band, of just like trapping people, which is what I called it. But as soon as they find you, that you don't let them leave, because the internet is so fleeting. I mean, I think you know this, right? Like people, you find something and then you're just gone, and you remember like 3 years later, like, remember that one viral video? There was like a badger. Who made that? And then like you don't know who made that. Like, but if you can capture people and so that they eventually come see you on tour and that kind of stuff, you got to be strategic from the very top. So work on accessibility before you even worry about size is how I think you should.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
I guess jumping off of your point about making everything important one click away, landing pages, like is that something that you advocate for or have much experience with? Like essentially just like taking an isolated either project or a specific component of something on your site and just giving it a all-in-one home base that you can direct people to from any other external places.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons that I still use WordPress, because I know how to use it. It's just like I can make a website for anything. So like every time we make like a really big music video, I'll just like, bam, this is a video, a page for our music video, I'm Winning. And from that, you can really easily get to our website to find out everything else. You can join our mailing list if you want to. But yeah, you just make sure that it's easier to have that on a landing page than just like on YouTube, because you can't control the experience as much, I think. Is that what you mean? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah,
exactly. I figured those went hand in hand. So as far as a few resources to point you to that will help make that content more accessible, as Laser was just describing, and before I let them take over here, we do have Zoogle here as one of the options. Of course, our last webinar with Dave Kuhl of Bandzoogle talking about crowdfunding.
So good.
We had some shout outs for Laser and Laser campaign. So maybe just returning the favor here. But I've heard about Textful, Bandzoogle, and Squarespace. Canva I'm interested to hear about, but would love some more info about each of these and how you and the Double Clicks have put them to use.
Oh my gosh. Textful is my favorite. Sometimes I say Textful is my boyfriend, because it's just, people just can text you and then join your mailing list, which is very simple. And there used to be a service that did this called Scaflash, which is my favorite name for a product of all time, but I think it's sunsetted now, unfortunately. So Textable is what I use now. I really like the idea of a ska exclusive music product, but alas, I guess the ska genre was not big enough to sustain. Anyway, Textable. Textable is great. People just, for mine, I think people can text the word cat to like a 5-digit number, and then they join your mailing list. You can like take polls during shows if you want, which is fun. It's like interactive, but it's like increased the number of mailing list signups that we get at shows from like maybe 10 people for a 200-person show to like 50 people for a 200-person show, which is wild. Like, and then those people stick around because you can be like, okay, and then you'll immediately get a download of 7 songs or whatever. Textful is set up to do that, and you send them like some welcome emails, and that's great. And then you don't lose these new fans. We happened to open for we had like a really awesome tour right before touring ended. We got so many new people, and they were so excited, and it was just, it was great. I'm getting goosebumps talking about a literal startup right now. That's not great, but Textful is amazing. And if you don't, you just really should, because it's an amazing resource, because if you're not using mailing lists, you're really missing out on people. And people love texting, and they love an excuse to pull out their phone. So it's like a really fun and easy way just to be like, okay, everybody, and I need you to pull out your phone. Yeah, that's right. At a show, I need you to use your phone at a show. And I tell people it's like my bandmate's personal phone number. And like, it's a very fun joke for everybody. Canva is the next thing on this list. That's just, I think a lot of people are, sometimes you don't use Instagram, or you're not posting as much or promoting things because you're like, I can't make a good enough graphic. Canva is basically Photoshop or a graphic designer light, and it's free. And you can just make anything you need. It's amazing. It's a website or an app. You can make animated graphics for your Instagram story. If you've ever seen people who have like pretty graphics on their Twitters or their Instagrams, this is probably the kind of service that they use. One of my other favorite things that they have is they have like automatic resizing. So if I make like an image, like a poster for like my next webinar or an upcoming gig or an upcoming tour, I can just go up to the menu and be like, okay, and then make this the right size for Twitter, Instagram, and a Facebook post, and it'll automatically do it. And it's just like saves my life. It's amazing, because you really should make all of your graphics the right size for all of the places to make it easier for your viewers. So I love Canva, and I think more people should use it. And then also here I have Bandzoogle and Squarespace. Bandzoogle is amazing. I really wish I knew about Bandzoogle when I started my website, because if you haven't checked out Bandzoogle and you are still like in the process of ramping up your website, you should use it. It has absolutely everything you need to make a band website, and it is not limiting. Like, so many places that are specific for any website creation are like, you just need this, and it's, and we won't give you any possibilities to do anything else. Bandzoogle is like really open, but also has so many training wheels that you can create a really, really beautiful website. I probably will eventually move over there. I just have like 10 years of archives of blogs and stuff that I have to move. But yeah, Bandzoogle or Squarespace, mostly these things are just like, when people tell me I can't do this because I'm bad at technology, I'm like, okay, but you can, because these things can make it so you like really in one night can solve all of your technology problems. And haha, you can make yourself super accessible on the internet to all of your fans. And in the workbook I'm going to give out for free during this thing, I have a checklist that says like, here are all the things that your website and your social media need to do. So just take that checklist, bring it to these resources, and then bam, you have everything that you need to make your music accessible to everybody it needs to be. And it's like, it's not that hard. You can do it. I believe in you. I'm very excited. I love this so much.
Oh no, it's a treat having you. And yeah, here, take a break. Much needed hydration. Some questions, again, you can send those in via the chat window. I've got one here, and if this is something we're going to touch head on after this when speaking about investment and growth, let me know and we'll save it for them. But just in case, there's something direct that we can tackle here.
Sure.
It's not a great reality, but the music business, music media, in a lot of cases, it's a very kind of copycat, snowball-y kind of industry. And what I mean by that is, like, once you start to gain traction, it's a lot easier to keep that traction going and on an upward tangent. What I'm wondering is, like, we're talking about building and engaging your online audience, especially in a time when we can't be getting out there and performing, at least in the way that we used to. All this to ask, what about artists that are very much at that ground floor, at square one, who may not have many people engaged yet other than, you know, family, friends, and a really tight, dedicated following? What kind of things can they be doing in terms of outreach, content creation, etc., to start getting that ball rolling? You know, like, once you see say a DoubleClick's Facebook group with 1,000 people actively engaging, it's a lot easier to, oh, I want to be a part of this. Whereas, you know, there might be more hesitancy earlier on. Do you have any advice for folks that are at that stage?
Yeah. Yes. And we'll talk about it a little bit, but making stuff is so important. I think if you've already made stuff, then ignore that, obviously. But sort of starting to have content so that when people discover you, they can dive in and spend time with you is important. Right now, there's a lot of opportunities to collaborate with people. And I think basically when you're at that level where you may not have like a lot of audience to offer, trying to think of like what else you can offer when you're offering a collaboration. Because maybe if you wanted to collaborate with a musician, because like then you get access to their fans, right? And that might help you grow your audience. What else can you offer? Like, can you say, I'm going to write the song and mix everything, and all you have to do is sing? Like, what kind of stuff can you offer? If you join a community, can you write like a theme song for a podcast? Can you write a theme song for a Facebook group? Can you, what kind of thing can you offer to somebody? That we used to do this a lot. We would like write free songs for podcasts and write free songs for like just like random like fan art, basically. And that was a really good way to like get people to kind of become aware of us as like, oh, this is weird. And then once they found us, they found that we had like 50 videos on our YouTube channel. New potential audience members. It's like, okay, you had one weird song on Comedy Bang Bang, and now I found you and you have 50 songs on your YouTube channel. Okay, so I have time. I can dive into what you're doing. So that kind of thing, I guess, is my answer of like, what can you offer instead of what can you ask?
Oh, awesome. Great idea with the podcast themes, by the way. Love that.
Yeah.
Here. Okay, great question here from Paul. But first, for folks having trouble with finding the downloads, forgive me if our interfaces don't look the same, but the event board, if you click on the event board, you should have the option to toggle between the basic webinar info and the shared files. And right there, you'll be able to see the 4 that we've got. All PDFs can download. Let me know if you're still having trouble. Laser, Paul's question here, and a great one. And again, if we're going to touch on this in a moment, we'll just carry on with the presentation and jump back to it. But yeah, Paul's wondering, should you change or I guess tweak your message/content for each different social media platform or website? I guess like beyond your character limits, maybe inherent in Twitter and whatnot. But yeah, is there value to that, to kind of taking a general bit of content or text and tailoring it to each platform?
Yeah, I think you should, especially, I mean, to the extent that you want to spend the time to do it, which I think you should. But yes, I get very frustrated, especially when I'm working with like individual clients who are like, I don't know why my internet isn't growing. And then I go and look and like their Instagram is just tied to their Twitter and their Facebook. And I just like, no, it doesn't work like that. Because different platforms work really differently. And if you are immersed in those platforms, you will know that, and you will, you'll kind of get the idea. But here, this is sort of like the basic way that I tell my clients and my students to do it is Instagram is more just like image and then like a nice, beautiful caption that can be super long. And that's more about sharing an experience or sharing something. Facebook is way more about asking or trying to get feedback or trying to get a response or trying to get answers to questions. And a lot of that is just because Facebook is, well, first of all, really good for the like responses. And there's just, everybody is on Facebook, at least my audience is. Your audience might be in different places, but also the more people that comment on stuff, the more people are going to see it. So I try to post stuff on there that I know is going to get, when I frame a caption on Facebook to like an image, or when I post anything there, I try to make it so that people are going to reply to it. So it's like, what do you think about this? Or like, here's this funny picture caption contest, or here, instead of just posting like, here are the tour dates, I sometimes I'm like, here we're going, where should we go next? Because I know that's what people are going to post anyway, because no one will ever be happy when you ever post tour dates. But yeah, and then Twitter is, you don't post as many hashtags on Twitter as you post on Instagram and that kind of thing. Like, I think you definitely should tailor your content to different places. On your website, clearly you can post like longer blogs, and you definitely should like put all the details in there. Take people's times like wildness there, because it's people can spend a lot of time with you there. So yeah, definitely tailor your content different places.
Right on. Okay, I've had a few more that have just come in.
Yay.
We will jump to these. We'll save them for the last Q&A though, just in case we're going to touch on them here anyway. Cool. So we'll keep rolling on. Talking now about the second of the 3 steps to building and engaging your online audience, that being investment.
Yes.
And first and foremost here, being essential to your fans' lives. I definitely get the feeling, in having gone through a lot of the Double Clicks material, and maybe more specifically your fans' material, that you guys have this one on lockdown.
Yeah.
Step through these.
Yeah. So being essential to your fans' lives, this is just, the more time they spend with you, the more music becomes part of their identity. So I kind of think of it like a science experiment by volume, like, like red liquid and white liquid or something like that. And like, the more hours they spend with you, the more like the volume of your music liquid takes up their body or whatever. But that is, that's just essentially like, how much time can you create that they can spend with you? And I think you said rabbit hole, which is way better than what I say. If you can create an internet hole of content for your fans to fall into and spend time with you, then you can have this experience of them spending time with you. So I think the example I use is the band Pentatonics, because whenever I am up late at night and my partner is asleep, I find myself watching Pentatonics videos or some of their spin-off bands. And I have to say that band is a part of my identity, because I have spent probably 10 hours of my life watching Pentatonics videos, even though I'm like, I don't know why, but they just have so much content that it's so easy to watch hours and hours and hours of it. There is such a good Pentatonics internet hole. And if you can create an internet hole of your content, then your fans, as soon as they watch one video, then they can find another video, and then they can find another video, and they can find a blog post, and they can keep scrolling through your Instagram photos of your cat or whatever. Then there's just so much time they can spend with you. And I definitely encourage you to try to create an internet hole of content for your fans to spend time with you, because then there's just more and more things that they can do.
Bingo.
I mean, why not? Why not? And then the other aspect of this is to tell your fans your story and to be honest, just to be genuine, because the more specific things they have in common, the closer you bond. So the internet, and, I have a very, like indie, crowdfunding, like one-on-one, no gatekeepers outlook on music, which is that you should make the stuff that you want to make, and that you should be very, very genuine in your fans and never make things just because you think it'll be popular, or make things just because you think it'll help you get signed or whatever. Because people can tell when you're being genuine, and also people can relate to you more when you are showing like that raw part of yourself, right? So if you have something weird about you, I have so many weird things about me. Like, you know, I'm a ball of anxiety and I'm super medicated for it. And I talk about that a lot. I'm a non-binary queer person. I love dinosaurs and cats. And I have so much of this weird stuff about me, right? And I'm super open about it. And the more I share about myself over the years, I have become more and more open about it. I used to not be at all. The more my fans care about me, and the more that they talk to me about it, and the more that we like get to connect. And there have been times when I've created stuff just because I thought like this will be popular, or this will get a lot of YouTube views or whatever. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And if it doesn't work, then I feel horrible because I've just like created something to be popular and like it didn't even work. And if it did work, then now people want me to play this song that I hate. You know, like it's like you've got to do things to be genuine, and your audience will love you for it. And then anyway, so that's this investment is going to be emotional if you are honest. So yeah, making that internet hole of content and doing it genuinely. The other reason to be genuine is that you will be gaining an audience that will follow you as you change. I went to a meeting at the YouTube space a few years ago, and it was like all musicians who at least had 10,000 subscribers. And one of the people there was saying how she had like way more than 10,000 subscribers. And she was like, I gained this audience by creating covers because that was what everybody was saying you had to do to gain a YouTube following. And she wanted to create original songs, but she couldn't because her audience didn't like them. And so she could never like really do what she wanted to do because she didn't have the audience that was there for what she actually liked, right? So I think creating an audience based on the stuff you want to make is way more important than creating an audience based on what's going to be popular, which is what I was talking about with quantity earlier. So yes, make that internet hole and furnish it. And this is how you furnish it.
Love it. And Jackie is with you on the pentatonics rabbit hole. Looks like she's headed down there before as well.
And a supernatural. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Right. Oh my gosh. Just there's so much stuff. And that's the other thing about, one more thing about pentatonics is that not all of it is like these $10,000 like amazing music videos. A lot of it is like we sat down on a couch and made a video, or we're tour vlogging, or it's like a live stream. Like it really doesn't all have to be amazing. And that's really, really important as well, is at a certain point, it doesn't really matter what the content is. And right now, the bar has never been lower for what makes content you can put on the internet, right? Everybody's just making stuff from their home. Ian McKellen doesn't have a nice webcam, but he was just live streaming the other day. Like you just make anything. If the audio is pretty good, people will watch it, right? So here is the investment plan. Step one, think hard about what makes you unique and what differentiates you from others that do what you do. So this is what I was just talking about genuine stuff. So when you make stuff for the internet, I think you are a unique combination of something, right? And it's more, I think when you put stuff on the internet, you don't want it to be just like everybody else. You don't have to share everything about yourself. Obviously, put up whatever like boundaries you want, but maybe I like to think about this as like if you are sitting in a booth at like a pub, remember being out with people and with other musicians that do what you do, like with other punk rockers, then you're like, I am different because from these people because I am a nerd, or I, like I'm super into makeup looks, or I'm, I play trombone or whatever. What differentiates you from those people? And then use that thing or those things to create engaging weekly content. So it doesn't always have to be a music video to create your internet hole content. It could be a live stream. It could be a short thought, a process video, whatever it is. Give this project, this weekly project, a name, because things that have names get people really excited. Have you found this? Like when something has a name, people are like, oh my gosh, it's real. Congratulations on X thing. Even if you've been doing this thing forever, as soon as it has a name, people are like, oh my gosh, congratulations on it. I don't know.
Give it a name. Point.
Yeah. And then post that weekly project every week. I mean, you don't have to do it forever. 8 to 10 weeks is what I recommend. At least. And then each week, post a relationship building ask along with your content that's a good way to like take advantage of it. So like post it for 3 weeks and then just to like build the momentum. And then every week, then after that, be like, okay, oh my gosh, did you like this week's like weekly song Wednesday? Then now join my mailing list. Did you like this week's weekly song Wednesday? Now follow me on Spotify. You can get the songs. Did you like this week's weekly song Wednesday? Now tell your friends, that kind of thing. And that is the investment plan. That is your weekly project. That's your homework. And that just to give you like a specific way to implement this internet hole stuff. When you post your content, yes, here's some more instructions. Always be one or fewer clicks away when you post your stuff. So I've been giving this homework to a lot of people, and one of the things that I found is people are like, okay, I did it. I uploaded a video and it's on Vimeo, and people have to go to my website and then click there and then go find it. It's like, no, it should be directly on YouTube. It should be directly right on Facebook. If you can post it, make your stuff so easy to find. Things being easy to find are more important than having like the highest res video or having the most like view counter things. Everything should be one or fewer clicks away. Mm-hmm. Direct on Instagram if you can. Post your images right places. And and here's some examples. Weekly Song Wednesday is a project. That's the project that the Double Clicks did. We did it for 6 months. Every Wednesday we posted a video. It was great. I mean, it populated our YouTube with tons of videos. A lot of them are like straight to camera in my basement. Me just wearing a different scarf, like in the same room. And then we eventually got bored and like started walking around the neighborhood, and like we learned a lot about filmmaking. That's the other advantage of making things every week is like you will get so much better at what you do. You will evolve things you do so much. One of my current students who's doing this is a painter. And she is learning how to use iMovie. I'm so proud of her. She's like 65 and she's learning how to use my iMovie, and then she learned how to make time-lapse videos, and then she learned how to add music to them. Like every week she's getting better at doing things, and she's getting better at painting while she does it, and she's getting better at making things that are engaging. And she's like, I learned how to add titles this week. And she started by like everything had 10 views, and now she's got 1,000 views, and she's like, I've learned how to use Facebook better. And it's like amazing. Like it's so cool when you can improve your skills and make content, and yeah, it's so cool. I love that.
I took away from our presentation here, but just by the titles alone, I was very curious about these other initiatives.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so these are all other things that are rad weekly projects. So Jenny Kluken was a client of mine who came to me and was like, I have a huge problem. I want to kickstart my marimba album. I want to change the way people think about marimba, which is my favorite pitch anybody's came to me with. But these days I've been doing a lot of painting, and I think people forget that I play marimba. And she's like, it's a huge problem. And I was like, okay, is it a huge problem or is it the greatest thing ever? Because if you are a musician, you're always looking for visuals for your music videos. If you are a painter, wouldn't you love to have music for your visuals? So what we did is we started making time-lapse videos of her. She does this drip art painting. And we set the drip art painting to her improvised marimba pieces and like made these amazing videos. And then she raised so much money on Kickstarter, like way more than she should have. And she like did half Kickstarter, half like art drive, because she had like really engaged her audience with this, like, I am a painter and a marimba artist, and like do all of these things together. Anyway, it was amazing. Her Instagram is great. I love her art. I just bought a piece of it. It's incredible. So yeah, it's these marimba drip painting videos that are gorgeous. Cool. Lynn O'Brien is another client of mine. Sorry, were you saying something? That's great.
Oh, that sounds very cool.
It was very, very cool. Lynn O'Brien's another client of mine who spent a long time building her audience before she launched, and also made like way more money than she should have based on like the size of her audience. But she does, there's an app called Acapella where you can like basically sing with yourself. And she does like little 6-word pep talk kind of things, acapella improvised style, that she posts on her Instagram. And this is like another example of like, you don't have to write and record a full song. She has these like really engaging, very uplifting acapella tunes that she could make in, I'm guessing, an hour or less, that she posts on her Instagram that people absolutely love, where she sings and encourages people. And there's like a bunch of her little face singing and encouraging you, which is really lovely. Molly Lewis plays the ukulele and like covers Beatles songs, but like only like, I think 15 seconds of them, and also uses an app similar to Acapella, where you can play with yourself and like do all the different parts without having to like import yourself into Final Cut or whatever. It's really great. I mean, there's like a lot of different things you can do. And if you give it a title, people are like, oh, this is a thing. Every Wednesday, I got to tune into Instagram and check out this amazing song. And, you know, all of those people have like that unique thing about them that people are going to tune into. So, oh my gosh, we have like so little time. I'm sorry. I won't stop.
No, it's all good. I figure we can bleed 10 minutes after.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Just fine. But no, I didn't want to rein anything in because we're getting great comments and love what I'm hearing. Okay, so we're on to size 3 of 3, and maybe we will not cut anything short here, but race through, and then we'll tell you about the work and jump to questions.
No problem. Yes. Okay. So size. And again, I think this is, I mean, it's important, but it's least important because growing your audience, absolutely vital, but you have to do the other stuff first. So great ways to grow your audience: collaboration, like I said, what can you offer? And joining communities in a genuine way. So joining communities where you can offer something and they can offer something to you, and that are not just like everybody here plays ukulele and I also play ukulele, but like I like cats, you like cats. I can offer ukulele music to this cat group. And I have, you know, just think outside the box, I guess is basically my short pitch for joining communities there. Find fans where they will be excited to see you and where the competition is low. This is something that the Double Clicks have had a lot of success with. I kind of call it like going to the point of low competition, where there's something, the people there are going to be interested in you because you are offering something they're interested in. Like maybe you're like a honky tonk band at a beer festival. Like this is the overlap is definitely there, but you're the only band there, you know, like you're not just like the same thing that everybody is doing there. I think you kind of waste your time in a certain way trying to find audience at a place where there are a lot of other people trying to find audience doing the same thing. But if you can find a place where you know your audience is going to be, but they don't know that you're going to be there, it's really it's cool. Like you can sneak up on people and they'll be like, what? I didn't think you were going to be here, but there's music here and that's great. And that has always been a very successful thing for us. Like we play at a lot of sci-fi conventions where there's like, people are like, a band at a sci-fi convention and you just said the word Star Trek? Oh my goodness. And for some reason they all talk like that. So yeah.
Dressed up as the Cantina band.
Exactly.
Although
Exactly.
you said Trek. Don't get mad, Trekkies. I know the difference. Okay.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And then, yes, leading with art, not with sales. So that content project we just talked about and investment, using that to pitch yourself instead of like, hey, please back my Kickstarter. You might like my music, but instead like starting earlier, start with your music, start with free music to get your fans. I think that's something that for some reason people miss. I think it sounds obvious, but it's not. And then find places where people gather and discuss relevant topics that aren't music and show them what you've made. Yeah, absolutely. So Facebook groups and subreddits and etc. So like think about topics that aren't music, and how do you and pitch based on that. So like your location, the subject matter of your songs, like animals and plants, your identities, like religious, queer, like other identities, locations that you shot your music videos, your hobbies, your favorite TV shows or games or movies, the instruments that you play. There are groups for everything. So like become members of those groups, and then, and then make music for those groups based on that, instead of just trying to be another band in the same crowded area.
Right.
Pitch on your unique aspects. Don't pitch on being like the next Alanis Morissette, although don't be afraid to compare, because that is helpful. And then stay connected when people find you, like I talked about. Never forget.
Awesome. All right. We are technically in question period here, but I'm going to leave this up for a little while. Laser has been kind enough to serve up a free workbook for everyone that's attended here, and you don't need it. It sounds like people are still having trouble with some of our free downloads here. So 24 hours from now, we're going to send the link around to everyone that registered with a link to a recording of the session. You can take it in or share it as you see fit. And within that, I'll include an easy download link to the resources today. Yeah, I'm not sure if everyone was having trouble or just a few, but in any case, we'll work around that. But if you go to this link, and again, if you download the PDF that we'll have shared for you, or you can just probably remember this one, but workbook.lasercampaigns.com. And in there, again, something that you can put into practice right now. What type of content should you be posting, when, how? You can read it here. We will go over some of the things we've talked about, but there's a lot more to it. And then, yeah, Laser gets practical and walks you through the next 8 weeks of posting and work. I can't think of how we could be more helpful than that. This is awesome. Thank you so much, Laser, for doing this. And please, everyone, take advantage. Okay, no, I'll leave that one up. We are in question period, though. Had a couple, or one question and one seconding it. Jackie's wondering about online safety, both privacy and safety, about, what sort of safeguards you would recommend when working at growing your audience. Now, I don't know if they mean more so like technical data safety, or if it's more, if you're revealing lots of details about yourself and who you are, I don't know, maybe marginalized communities, etc. If she means, or they mean safety that way. But any advice on just keeping things safe?
Yeah, sure. I also don't know exactly what you mean. I mean, I know some people are a little bit hesitant to like share details of their lives online, and I absolutely understand that. You don't have to do that. Like, people don't know where I live, and they don't know a lot of things about me, and I think that is totally fair. I mean, you can tell people about your hobbies and your interests and some stuff about your life without talking specifically about yourself. In terms of like hackers and scammers and stuff, absolutely make sure you have like 2-step authentication set up on everything you do. Make sure, I mean, you don't have to, if anything seems sketchy, which I feel like I get a lot of sketchy emails from people who are like, I want to be your fan. I want to, like, that happens. Feel free to ignore them, set up boundaries. Boundaries are totally fine. I think I've definitely been in positions where I always prioritize my safety and the safety of like my tour mates and my friends over like being nice. And that's just comes from, I think, being from Boston. But I don't, I never want to be like, oh, well, I should probably be nice to this man instead of kicking him out of the show. And I always just kick him out. So I would say if you feel like people are trying to scam you, it's okay to, yeah, people who pretend to be fans, yeah. It's okay to just say no. Just say no. Yeah, that's a good question, but I don't know. Without a specific question, I guess I don't exactly know how to answer it. Yeah, setting up boundaries is great. Don't reply to anything. I have like a very specific way for people to contact us. I don't like respond to Twitter DMs or Instagram DMs and stuff like that. I'm just like, email me. And if it's seems like most scammers and stuff aren't gonna follow more than one bounce of like, right. If they were trying to scam you on Instagram, they're not gonna send you an email. So, yeah.
I guess this is a fairly general question, and actually maybe if it's touched on in the workbook, let's just use that as the answer. But Joel's wondering, like, how much time, maybe we'll say per week, do you spend working specifically on online content?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can, and this is a little bit of the workbook, you can set that boundary. You can say, I want to spend an hour, or you can say, I want to spend 7 hours. And either one is fine. If you're like, I'm ramping up to a crowdfunding campaign and I want to build my audience by 100 people in the next month, then maybe you're going to spend more time than if you, if you just want to engage your existing audience. So I think you really can decide how much time you want to spend. Yeah. And that is in the workbook. You're going to write down how much time you want to spend and then use that to figure out what you're going to do. So,
yeah. And I guess within there's a slight distinction too between like online content, audience engagement work, and then as you were describing earlier, like just that more lighthearted, informal engagement with fans that may just end up being more hobby and like personal social engagement almost than music work. Like I can think of a number of artists that are very, very active on Twitter and Instagram, and it's not always like, this is me and my music career, but more so just kind of an individual engaging with people around them that sort of blurs the line a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, these days, like a lot of social media is super stressful. And like, as a person who's like, I'm a queer person and all of this stuff, and like everything is really a lot. I mostly engage with my fans like on a private Discord and a private Facebook group, and I'm like not on social media other than that, and it's really nice. And then like my bandmate manages our Instagram, and then if we're like doing something live, we'll do stuff. And then if I want to communicate with my fans, I use email. So that's what I do. And then we've like made some YouTube videos. This is just like my workflow. So if we like want to make a new thing, then we'll put out a YouTube video and we'll email them about that. And that's, a couple hours a week. We're not ramping up to anything. We just finished a crowdfunding campaign. We raised $62,000 during the COVID pandemic, which was wild. It's like really one of our most successful Kickstarters. But that was like partially due to the fact that we were live streaming all the time and everybody was home, and it was really fun. But yeah, like you really can set your own boundaries, but I think part of that is just once you've done the work to set up your discovery ready website and your accessibility so that when you're gone, people can still find you and spend time with you. And you're gone, you're not really gone. There's like still stuff to do with you. It's okay to disappear for a while because, your house is still there for people to play in.
All right, on. Thank you, I guess, first to everyone for taking time out of your day to join us for this and being proactive with your career. Kudos. And yeah, huge thanks to Laser as well. Got some congrats on your successful campaign there. And there you go. If you want to go beyond this and some of the tips that we've given you and learn how to crush your Kickstarter or the basics of crowdfunding for musicians. This is all in Laser's internet hole. So here are, I'll mention first, CanadianMusician.com, of course, is the home base for us. CanadianMusician.com/pushing, though, is where you can get our free ebook to help musicians push through the COVID-19 pandemic. Lots of actionable ideas in there, as well as links to crowdfunding for musicians. NWCwebinars.com, where you can find out about our upcoming sessions and access all of our previous sessions, including this one as of, well, in a few hours from now. Yeah, as far as bringing people into your world between social media, the double clicks, either feel free to fire off some handles, or is there a home base where people can then kind of branch out and find more about what you do?
Ooh, well, if you get that workbook, it'll have all the links. So workbook.lasercampaigns.com. It would be my one ask for you. Workbook.lasercampaigns.com. But yeah, go to let's see. You can follow me on Laser Campaigns everywhere. So please do that. And get that workbook. Really, please get the workbook. I'm very proud of it, and it's got like 20 pages of stuff, and it's really good. It's a bunch of worksheets that I made for my clients. I'm very, workbook.lasercampaigns.com. But yeah, follow me on Laser Campaigns. On my Instagram, my cat gives you advice. So at Laser Campaigns, my cat Marzipan will tell you how to build your audience. She doesn't do a lot of work, but she has a very big online audience. So I think you should trust her. So.
Right. Marzipan and Laser, I guess, offering up great advice. And for that, we are very appreciative. Laser, I'll be back with you shortly. I'm going to lose you here now, though, for a few minutes. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll wrap this up. And we'll be back later in the month, nwcwebinars.com for more on that.